All right, Clay, I'm rolling. Go ahead.
Mr. Doering,
Yes.
you must be very excited about tomorrow, huh?
Oh, I'm ecstatic.
It's been a long time, right?
Oh, lifetime. No, I started riding in 1940.
Did you?
101 Scout Indian, the model 101.
101 Scout.
Yeah, I got some up there.
Yeah.
A couple of them up there.
And
And I just, that's... But my family before me, my brothers had bikes.
oh, really?
Yeah, same kind of a bike, not the same one.
No, right.
That model, Indian.
So they were your older brothers.
Yes, older brothers.
So then you got interested because you were.
Well, your family, they're riding. Of course, you're looking forward to when you could get one.
Yep.
You get off a bicycle and you get 16 or so, and you get a motorcycle.
And you had a lot of. How many brothers and sisters did you have?
There's 5. I'm one of 11. There's 5 boys, 5 girls. Well, actually 6. One died at an early age.
Wow.
Child,
Yes.
So it was 5 and 5. 5 boys, 5 girls.
And you're from Newburgh your whole life, right?
Mountainville, I was born.
Yep. Mountainville.
Mountainville,
Wow.
which is a town of Cornwall.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah. My school's up the hill. The church is up the hill, about a half a mile away from the house where I was born, home. And then, let's see, the church is there, the school's next to it, on Angola Road up the hill.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Pleasant Hill Cemetery is not far from there, so
It's a
you're
big
born,
circle
you're
of
there.
life.
Circle of life, right in Mountainville, Cornwall. That's something, ain't it?
Yes. Yes. So you started riding in 1944.
44, and just, did this, that.
How'd you get your first bike?
I bought it from a fellow at a neighboring farm. But we used to all meet, all the guys, girls too, at the Little Britain Grange.
Oh, I know that.
Square dance. All right, everybody was there.
The Grange
So
is still there, right?
Yeah, oh sure. But all the deals were made there those days.
Oh, really?
Cars were sold, bikes, cars, So that's where you make your hook up.
Did a lot of the farmers use motorcycles, like the Indian bikes, for farming? No. Or just for transportation?
But the thing in those days, it was your transportation.
Right.
You got a bike, it was the cheapest thing, $75
To buy one.
You had a used Indian
Right.
or a Harley.
Right.
And
And-
it's whatever you start with. If you start with an Indian, of course you're partial to that.
Yes. Well, your first bike.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm saying that brand.
Right. Right. And back then, you had to license it, just like
Well, I
today?
rode for, I bet you, 6 months with no plate or driver's license. And the back roads then, or mountain area, and all the secondary were dirt.
Right.
And it was wartime, so you didn't have a lot of cops. You once in a while might run into a constable or something. But
Right.
usually
They
you
didn't
could-
bother you.
Well, he wouldn't bother you. You could outrun him. He had his own car. Wasn't a problem. But mostly you wouldn't see anybody. Mostly all law enforcement was in the service fighting a war.
Right. Right. 1944.
So
You're right.
I would say after 6 months or so, I finally got around to plate. Those days was $5 for a plate on
Oh, really?
no insurance.
You didn't need
Plate's
insurance.
$5, and of course your driving rate that would be separate. A little more than for a car.
Right. Do you still have that bike or no? The first bike.
I
you
don't
bought?
have that one. No, but I have, of course,
You have one just like it.
Oh yeah, sure. Maybe more. Maybe 6 of them.
No kidding. Jeez.
6 101 Scouts. That's what happens.
Yeah, you get. It's like a disease, right? It's infectious.
Yeah, but you get one, and if that's what you had, and then through the years, I've been buying bikes and cars, trucks. My birth year, 1927.
Oh, right.
That's what you want, right?
Right. So how many 1927s do you have?
I got a Packard over home there,
Oh,
and
dear.
Model T's and A's,
Wow.
and the truck over here, maybe.
So you would buy them. You just buy them and keep them.
Yeah, but not at first. It was only farmer. I worked on my father's farm. It ain't a lot of money.
Right.
But you'd get by, you know. So collecting came later when I was able to, you know.
When you could afford to do it.
Yeah, you could, but back then when you say a bike was $75, back in 44, that was a
That's a
heap
lot of money.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
it's-
You have a great story about driving to Florida. Now, I heard
Yeah.
this story, but I
Well,
want to see it.
yeah. Well, there's two stories.
Can we hear 'em both?
One to Walton. They wrote that down. Gene's got that, I believe. Walt narrated for her.
Okay.
My contribution to that run, he owned a car, we built a trailer, and I supplied him with a motorcycle, so when we got down there, he'd have something to ride
Right around.
on the beach, you know.
Right.
We went to Daytona, but we first went all the way to Miami. And, you know, figured, you know, that's the lay of the land, you know, see what's good. But anyway, the Miami Herald was having a strike. And the guy came over to us, he says, hey, how'd you guys like to make $5 a day for picket? And I says, well, I'm not down here to get killed. Yeah, we're gonna picket a couple of Northerners, right? So anyway, then we went back to Daytona, and we stayed there for a month or more.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, rode the beach
And what year was that?
in 47.
47. When did the...
Well, 47, then we went around Christmas time or New Year's somewhere, so now it's really 48.
Right.
You know.
And when did the Daytona, the big motorcycle heat, what is that? That's
Yeah, well, those days, it was only, the race was on the beach and the first highway, the first street. There was no track like now.
No.
And there was no bike week, that's
Right,
nonsense.
right.
People came, it's true, but not like now.
Not like that. How many people do you think the first couple
I
times?
don't know. I remember watching the race from a corner, I think the southeast corner, southwest corner, and just stood there and watched it, you know. And we just hung out. We went to different places where we go to DeLand. Figuring guy said, go over there, you can pick oranges. We're not getting jumps there. They're not the same color as we are, the
No,
people.
I
that do the
understand.
work. So they just, you know. Then we went, I think Walt went to, figured he'd work on a farm. But there's no hay down there.
Right.
It ain't
Right.
like up here. There's
Right.
not a lot of work. So we didn't do it, we just hung out. Rode around.
Yeah.
And then he made a deal with the car, but he's got all that story. He's got it
Right.
more correct than I can tell.
Right.
Because he did it a year ago, and Gene's got it, so it's
Documented.
Yeah, he wrote it down.
Good.
She did.
No, that's good. That's good.
But anyway, that was the first trip, and then I went all that summer. We go back in March. We freeze. He says we'll go back home. We're on bikes now. Trailer got sold. Car got sold. I said, "Walk. We'll get up to Georgia, and after that we're gonna freeze." And didn't we? Though.
Did you?
In
Oh,
March,
yeah.
middle of March.
Right.
Oh, so the time I got home, I lost him somewhere in Jersey. And I can't go look for him, I'll be lost myself. So I kept going, and when I crossed, how I got into the city, somehow I got in a tunnel by mistake. Traffic, I couldn't get over another lane. I'm
Lincoln
on a-
Tunnel
my
problem.
motorcycle, you know, geez, bad enough, right? And then I got in the tunnel, I'm in the city now, I know I gotta go back and go get the George Washington Bridge, get
Right.
out 17. So that was all right, I got across there, and the rain then was like, you know,
Like
sleet.
ice, yeah.
Sleet, yeah, freezing too. So I made it home without incident, didn't fall down or none. I stayed over more where the gravel and stuff was.
Right.
Because the traffic was going, look, I was doing 25, maybe as slow as I could go.
Wow.
So I wouldn't fall
So you wouldn't go down? Sure.
So I got home. Now there he rode, and I walked in the kitchen, and I was whistling Dixie or something, you know, And I slipped on the linoleum floor, and down I went. My mother starts laughing. Yeah.
Made the whole trip
Yeah,
back
made the whole trip.
unscathed.
Nothing happened unscathed.
You walked
And then it slipped on my feet were wet, from the rain.
How old were you then?
I was 20.
20. Young guy.
Because June 47, like on that race poster thing there, it's on the 15th, and my birthday's the 18th. I was 3 days away from being 20. I
Oh, wow.
was 19,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I was 20.
Good. When did you, what year did you really start collecting? I mean, really
Let me
get
see.
into it, you know?
There's a video of that. We got it here at a meet at Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Harmony, a meet there we had year after year. But anyway, they're there and I got the camera, world tour. I said, I got them, first I had them 10 years apart, Indian for the timeline.
Right.
I said, now, I filled that in, got them 5 years apart, and 2 years is close in. And I said, I just went over there and I bought a 1904.
And what year was that?
That was 89.
In 89.
Yeah, in 89. Yeah, whatever. I belonged to a club, and
Right.
you went to the meets, and that's where you secured
And everybody
the bikes.
mingles, right? and they
Yeah,
talk.
well, this is for sale, that's for sale.
Right. Right.
Didn't sell none, just bought and
Just
saved.
bought and saved them. Bought and saved them. Yeah. So you've been collecting for 60 years, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And Ted's been collecting for 40 years.
The first bike I stopped, and it used to belong to Indian Larry, briefly.
Right.
Is a 31 Indian Chief.
31.
31. I still got it. It's a part, but I got it. And it's got cast aluminum tanks,
Wow.
which Indian had those in Henderson, I believe.
Henderson,
They're
right.
the only two that had cast aluminum, so they're
Right.
pretty thick.
Right. Right.
Indestructible. right?
Indestructible. Right. It'll never rust.
So, it went on. And then I just filled in. We adhere to one you want,
Mm-hmm.
the year to get it, to do the timeline anyway. I don't think any of them were built, but some might have needed something. But when you went to the meets and the flea markets, you could mostly get it.
Right.
I went to Hershey one year. That's a big,
Hershey, Pennsylvania.
yeah,
right?
big car thing. Yeah,
Yes,
every
it
year.
is.
But anyway, a hell of a flea market, right? And I remember getting a rolling chassis. Now we're going along, and this guy down there's got an engine. So I said to the guy with me, I said, stay back, don't let him see that we got the rest of the bike. He'll want more. He'll want more for the engine. So I bought the engine. It was $250 or something, $250.
Right.
But it was the one I needed.
was what you
So
needed.
you could actually go around and you could build them.
Yeah. 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 So you think there's still a lot of motorcycles hidden out there, Mr. Doering?
Well, it probably is. I think a lot of them, World War II, a lot of them got scrapped.
Yes, for metal.
Ted and I was looking for bikes upstate one time, and the guy said, gee, I had a 4-cylinder. He said, but last week we scrapped it. It was aluminum engine, so
geez.
it would get scrapped. But
Scrapped it for the aluminum.
So a lot of them went by the wayside, too.
Right.
So whatever was left, everybody used to say, oh, they're in a barn somewhere. Well, maybe not. They'd be in New York City in a loft.
You're right.
Not
You're absolutely
necessarily
right.
in a barn. Everybody thought, it's in a barn. No. In fact, my brother had an older brother. He worked for the USDA. So I said, Bud, you're in every barn and every shed for the animals. I said, maybe you'll find
And a
an
motorcycle.
old car or motorcycle. You never saw anything.
Never saw anything.
Nope.
And I saw you have you have a gas tank up there with hatchet holes in it.
Yeah.
Tell
well,
us the story about that.
Well, while I was there working on bikes and engines and stuff in the back, in a shed I built a shed. And I took stuff off the tanks, in this case off a 35 Indian Chief. Wasn't going to use them, so they were stuff was laying here. And then Teddy had a hatchet or something. He was, I don't know, 5'6". And he chopped, went and cut into it. I wasn't using, so it didn't matter.
And you kept it.
Yeah, well, we didn't throw anything away. Not motorcycle related.
Right.
We didn't throw anything away. Just keep it.
And tell us about the black hole, the infamous black hole.
Yeah, well, that name come up from the club members. Said he buys a bike, but you never see it again.
Meaning you buy it?
Yeah, I buy a bike. It goes home, and you don't bring it back to show it or nothing.
Right.
And the other story was that he don't bring a bike. He buys one, shows it, and then takes it home. And it's gone. Went in the black hole.
So that's probably one of the reasons why you built this beautiful museum, right? So you could show
Well,
everybody.
yeah, I could show the stuff because at some point when you got a few, you're thinking of that. And of course, you like the machinery of it, and
Right.
you're a hopeless romantic in that sense. And
I
that's
understand.
quoted from the guy up there with the, what do you call that? It's up in Rhinebeck, the aerodrome.
Oh, yeah, the aerodrome.
They
Right.
said that about him. He collected old airplanes. A hopeless romantic. And he had to have it, machinery.
Yes.
That's what it is.
So how many bikes are still in the black hole that the public has
I
not
don't
seen
know.
yet?
It's 40 for sure there.
40 of them.
There's some are not together and various stages of, part. So,
Now let me ask you a
but a
question.
lot of them is finished.
All-
30 at least are nice.
Complete. All those bikes you kept buying, did your wife ever get mad at you for spending the money
boy,
on
well,
bikes?
That's a separate story, maybe. Maybe that's for one of them romance magazines or something. I don't know. That's because they felt it wasn't family money in a sense because we had, but some in the beginning it was.
Well, sure.
And then we'd be at a meet, and a woman come up one day to my wife and says, he bought another one. But, of course, she didn't know about it. It happened quick, it was
Right.
up in Rhinebeck.
Right.
He bought another one. Wow. Imagine that. Like, what's new, right?
Yeah, tell me something I don't know.
Yeah, well, that woman, she didn't know. She just-
Right.
He bought another one. But I guess it got to be, I got notorious like that. Like, guys in the club would say, you're buying all these bikes, you're paying a lot or too much, maybe, in their estimation.
In their estimate, right.
So anyway, and you didn't sell any. He says, maybe you know something we don't. I said, I bought them because I liked them,
You
and I
liked
kept them, and I played with them.
Yeah.
So, it's like the stock market. They went up, not down.
that's what I'm saying. At
They
some-
wasn't making any more.
Right. So at some
teams.
point you must have realized, wow,
Yeah,
these are
they
valuable.
would
This
go,
is-
yeah, like some of the early ones, I'm sure they went up 3 times
Sure.
their
yeah.
price.
They appreciate it.
And one time there was a lawyer here, Ted uses for the help here, union they had here. But anyway, he said, I bought some Harley stock. He said, I said, yeah, well, sometimes that's not always doing so good.
Right, that's right.
So I said, I bought Russ, and I pointed to the bikes. He looked at me. I said, I bought Russ. It all went up too.
But yeah, it all
I
went
called
up.
it Russ, yeah.
That's right.
So
No, you're right.
he bought Harley stock. He thought, that's cool, right?
Yeah, no, you're better off
not
having the
so
machines. God, yeah.
Yeah.
So how many machines are in this building?
Higher. They said 350. I
About
don't
350, right?
know. They said,
Yeah. And you still ride too, right?
oh yeah. I ride a 31 4-cylinder Indian with a sidecar. And for a backup, I got a 33. They look kind of like red and, not that much change in a couple of years. And I'm not above, like, if one's not running, I would take the plate off and put it on the other one. And we'd done that years ago.
Yep.
You'd have maybe 2 Scouts, they're both blue,
Right.
and one's broke down, take the plate. There was no inspections those days.
Right.
And no, what do you call it? No, not even insurance
Insurance,
those days, back then in the 40s.
What birthday are you going to celebrate? Coming up.
Yeah. What have I got one coming in June?
And now,
June 18th, and I'll be 84.
84, and you're still riding. That's a great thing.
Still riding, yeah.
Feels good, right?
I could ride a solo, but I should have kept on with a solo because it helps with the equilibrium. You take a sidecar.
A sidecar, yeah.
It's just flat, just steer.
Yeah, I guess you
Like a
gotta
car.
be careful with a sidecar.
Well,
too,
they
right?
say that. They overplay that. They say, oh, you got to turn a certain way, baloney. If you watch it, you don't just ride it sensibly.
Right.
And one way it's true that it won't go over, but the other way, of course, it will pick up.
Sure, because you got the.
It's the weight from the
Right.
brake comes up.
That's if it's empty. And
Huh?
it's only. It's
Yeah,
better
if you
if
got
there's
a
person. right?
passenger, you'll be all right.
Right.
Or a sack of grain or sand
Anything,
or
right,
something,
some kind of
sure.
weight.
But it's not a problem.
Yeah.
These guys, I can't believe I got friends of my age. He wants to get one of them with 2 wheels in the back, a trike.
Trike.
I says, hey, don't worry, you could tip that over
Yeah, I
too.
bet you could. Sure, you
Sure,
could.
like those cop trikes, they could turn them over.
If you go too fast around the corner.
Well, yeah, sure,
Yep.
you can't lean, it won't lean.
Nope. You're right. You're right.
Yes,
So you got to be very excited. How many people do you think we'll get tomorrow?
I don't know. I said to Ted, it'll either be very few or too many overwhelming.
Yes.
One or the other.
Well,
But everybody says 200, 300. I said, no, I'm going to say not many or
Or
too
a lot.
many.
One way or the other. One extreme or the next.
Yeah.
Good. What's your favorite bike in the museum?
I don't know if there is a favorite one.
It's got to be one favorite one, no?
One, I don't know. It never came down to that.
No?
I'm partial, of course, to the Indian
Right.
and probably Scouts because I rode them most.
Right.
Later on in the 40s and 50s, and I had Chiefs, but before that was just
Scouts.
Scouts here.
Wow.
45 cubic inch Scouts.
Yep. And Ted was into the choppers. And
Yeah,
Harley.
he started with the chopping thing.
Well, sure, because when he was a young man, that was popular.
I did buy a brand new, what did I buy? First he had a service cycle, belt drive. Service cycle.
Right, service cycles.
Yeah. He had that first, and then I bought a new Triumph, a Cub 200cc.
Oh, new one.
Brand new, yeah, I got it from Winers. Anyway, Ted was riding it. He was old enough then. And he used to go to school in Newburgh, NFA.
Right.
But it'd be, some days it'd be raining or this,
Right.
raining. His mother was all worried.
Right.
So that's laying over there somewhere a little apart.
Oh, is it the same bike? Yeah.
Yeah, the motor's out of it, take
Right.
the motor out. So that was, he started that way, so now he's riding a bike. And then I bought 2 bikes from a trooper up in Middletown. Two Indian Chiefs. One he had running, and one was like extras for parts, whatever. So I bought the bike, and it was about those days. I met him at Winers, the trooper.
Yep.
He lived in Monroe or Middletown. So I bought the 2 bikes for, I don't know, less than $200. But the one that he was riding, he said, now be careful. He said, I had it on the quick way, and he said, it'll go, 100 or something.
Wow.
Warning me, like, be careful. But I believe that he just had a plate on it, and I don't think he had it registered or nothing. Why should he? He would have
Just ran it.
Yeah,
sure.
he wouldn't have any trouble.
Yeah.
So anyway, I bought those from him and brought them home, and the one of them, Ted took apart and they put the engines in the barren, the barren upstairs.
Upstairs. Yeah.
Yeah. And the other one, I was going to restore it, so I did ride that one. I don't know where it went now.
Yeah. And then Weinert's was at 782 Broadway, which now we know that building's
Well,
still
but
there.
they, when all that, when he was already up in his, what do you call it, the recycling place up on 211.
Right.
Out of Montgomery.
Weinert, right, where the T-shirt
Yeah,
factory
yeah,
is
that's
now.
it, that's
right.
them.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So that's when I bought the bike and stuff. He was the Triumph dealer.
Oh, okay.
There.
Oh, cool.
So,
Triumph's a good bike?
yeah,
Are they?
sure.
Well,
you know.
we're good. It's a pleasure, as always.
All right.
Anything-
go on down.
anything-
You know, it's hard to take a lifetime and go like this.
No,
with it.
we do a little at a time, right? A little at a time. Anything you want to say to Ted?
Huh?
Wish him good luck on tomorrow, Ted.
Ted, yeah, well, it's an ongoing thing, I guess. Father, son, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
great.
very lucky to have
Great,
that. That's
yeah.
a great thing.
Yeah, and you know, and he liked him and
Yep.
picked up on it. Of course, he, you know, did all right, you know, with the chopping,
Yes, yes.
because they were over there. And I kept thinking restoration all the while. He's thinking
Parts.
of chopping.
Chopping them, yeah.
Cat which came from California, that was starting
Yeah,
to
yeah,
come
yeah.
east, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And they would take long forks, big
Yeah.
fat tire. I did lace the wheels for all them bikes. They
Did you?
couldn't do it. I could do that. Because I worked in shops and I
Right,
did that.
right.
So I done that.
I gotta ask you, well,
I didn't weld. I couldn't weld. They did it.
If he welds, Ted's a good welder, right?
Oh yeah, they could weld. The boys that hung out there, they could
Yeah.
weld.
When did you? Now we have the Wall of Death from Pitt and Esther,
Yeah.
but you have another Wall of Death you bought. How many years ago?
That one over there, you mean the Thunder Clunder?
Thunder Clunder,
I
yeah.
bought that. It had to be in the 80s, late 80s. Yeah, late 80s. It was in Sucker Magazine. What's the name of that? It was in there for the longest time for sale.
Right.
First it was 100,000, then it was 90, and it went on for about a year, and then it was down to, I don't know, 75 or 80 or something. So I called him up. I said, Ted, you really ought to get that. Sure. So I called a guy up. His name was Marlon. I never met the guy to this day, but
He's
I
coming.
talked to him numerous times.
Is he coming here tomorrow or no?
Somebody said it.
That's what
Damien was checking. He
Yeah.
talked to him. Anyway, I only talked to him on the phone. Yeah, okay. Ted had to get two people, man and wife. They were truck drivers. He was, at least. They put him on a plane and go out to Minnesota.
That's where it was, Minnesota.
It was in a field. Had to get plates for it, do all that.
Get the truck running.
Special, what do you call it? Gasoline tax papers was a lot too, because the tractor trailer. You
Right,
know, a lot
right,
of
right.
red tape. So it got past all that, and they drove it back. And they said on the way back, the air conditioning stopped, and she said, then we opened the windows, 55-mile-an-hour air conditioning.
Natural air conditioning.
Yeah, 55 mile an hour. So they got it here, and they lived nearby us here,
Oh, good.
Valley Road, you know,
Oh,
in
wow.
Windsor.
Good.
And we got it here, and it sat over there in Mount Airy for the longest time.
Yes.
And then when we bought this in 204, or whatever that was,
Mm-hmm.
we brought it here.
You know, I'm not a motorcycle guy personally. No. I like the history of it.
Yeah.
But it seems to me a man on a motorcycle is kind of like a man on a horse back in the day. Yes?
Yeah, that or like, what do you call it? Ted says Lindbergh, that's his favorite, you know,
Yeah.
solo. He went.
Solo, right. Nobody around, right. The wind in your hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No helmets them days, no problem. Only on the track. You didn't
Oh,
need
really?
them for the highway.
Huh. Good thing that they have helmets, because
Well, I don't care. They can wear them, but I didn't need them because I didn't hit my head. That's, you know, I got a friend that he teaches that course there.
oh, in the back, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to work with them, but he does that at Stewart Field and somewhere down in Westchester County or somewhere. But anyway, he's always going to there's a helmet and this. I said, Sal, I said, you forgot one thing, Lady Luck.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not going to hit your
Maybe
head.
you
I've
hit
had
your head, you're
accidents. But if you don't hit your head,
You're all right.
yeah, Lady Luck.
Right,
You
right.
forgot that
Right,
element.
right. Now, when you would ride in the old days, did you wear leather pants to protect your
I
legs?
only wore them on the track. I didn't have any leather pants. I would have worn them. I had boots, of course, but not leather pants.
Right, right.
But on the track, because you're going to go
You're
down.
going to go down, yeah, yeah. Well, thank
Yeah.
you very much for your time.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. Look forward to tomorrow, having a good day.
yeah.
All right, we're good.